John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Donald Trump's inauguration as the 47th President of the United States has come and gone. Trump broke from the past. Normally, when a new president is being inaugurated in the United States, they don't invite foreigners. But Trump invited some world leaders like Javier Milei of Argentina, the Ecuadorian president, Italian prime minister, and the Chinese president. Of course, he didn't attend, he sent the vice president. No African leader was invited, but somehow Peter Obi got an invitation. It's not clear if the invitation was to the main event, that's inside the hall where Donald Trump took his oath of office. Because inside that hall, there were the who is who in US politics, past presidents and vice presidents, and other leaders of their Congress. However, Peter Obi didn't attend, like you already know. According to parallel facts, the reason he didn't attend was because of some pressing national issues. What might that be? In his stead, he sent Senator Nenadi Usman, who is the chairman of the Labour Party Caretaker Committee. It is important to stress here that this invitation might not have come to the Labour Party directly. Otherwise, the likes of Abure would have seized the opportunity to travel to the United States to witness the inauguration. Also, this means that other political leaders in Nigeria and political parties like PDP, APC didn't receive the invite to attend the inauguration of Donald Trump. Otherwise, they would have made a huge PR about the whole issue. But the only photo on the internet today from a political leader is from Nenadi Usman, as you can see in the photos that she shared on her verified X handle. Anyway, not that it matters who attends or not, but Nigerian political leaders can learn a lot of things from the inaugural event of Donald Trump and his actions a few hours he's been the president, or maybe one day he's been the president. You can see all the executive orders he has signed already. Even weeks preceding his inauguration, he already had the list of ministers and other appointees that will work with him. Most of them have already been grilled by the US Senate. So the lesson here is that Nigerian politicians who are elected must hit the ground running like Donald Trump did. In 2015, Buhari came to power. It took him more than 6 months, approximately 8 months, to submit the list of ministerial nominees to the National Assembly for approval. Under Tinubu, it took him several months to submit the ministerial nominees to the National Assembly. These are people that campaigned for presidential elections. They worked with fellow party members. Does it mean they never knew, they never saw the potential in all the people they worked with during the campaigns to be able to make the decision and say, this person, that person will take so portfolio, this person will do this person will handle this portfolio, you handle this ministry, to be able to come up with the ministerial nominees after being declared winner of the election. Even if they don't come up with all the ministerial nominees immediately after they won the election, at least that short time before inauguration, they should be able to have the ministerial nominees handy in order to hand it over to the National Assembly maybe a few days before inauguration, like Donald Trump did. Or in Nigeria's case, the executive branch is inaugurated almost the same time as the National Assembly. But they should always endeavor to submit it immediately the National Assembly is inaugurated, which is in about a month after the executive branch is inaugurated, so that they can really hit the ground running. Out of all the executive orders that Donald Trump signed on his first day in office, the most important one that affects the lives of Americans is the order to reduce the cost of living. Can you imagine? This is the direct dividend of democracy. He's giving it to them immediately. Of course, it is yet to materialize, but at least you can't but admire the effort to do something in favor of the people that elected him. Not just in this case that they will enjoy it alone. Everyone, including the people that didn't vote for him, will enjoy the dividend of democracy. In contrast, what did Nigerians receive on inauguration day of Tinubu? Subsidy is gone, and all hell was let loose on Nigeria. It remains the beginning of our suffering in this country. Not that there wasn't suffering prior to that, but it was still manageable prior to 29th May 2023. The only people that can argue this are supporters of the current administration, people who justify the suffering. As if that was not enough, just a few months after, he floated the naira, which is another word for devaluation of the naira. Today they are justifying it, saying that it is the actual value of naira, that naira has found its real value, that Nigerians should endure. So they made a bad situation very, very worse. It wasn't as if there wasn't suffering, like already said, under Buhari's administration, but it was manageable. People could still buy petrol for less than 200 naira per liter. So imagine, as rich as United States is, as massive as their purchasing power is, as their GDP per capita is, their leader is still talking about reducing the cost of living for their citizens. How much more Nigeria that is very poor? Nigeria's GDP is not comparable to many states in the US. It's not up to that of New York State, which is above $2 trillion. Are we going to talk about California, which is about the 6th or 7th largest GDP in the world? That's when you exclude them from the United States. So if we have to compare the two countries, Nigeria deserves more subsidies in many aspects of life in order to lift millions out of poverty. But instead of giving Nigerians that subsidy, instead of finding ways to make sure the state doesn't pay for the subsidy directly, they rather push the entire burden on Nigerians. They rather tell Nigerians, hey, you have to suffer now in order to live tomorrow. You have to bear all the burden, all the hardship, all the high cost of living, all the expensive stuff that people can't even afford. You have to bear everything today in order to live tomorrow. All this while they live their own lives, their own dreams today. All the people telling Nigerians to tolerate the suffering for the rainy day that will come who knows when, they are all living their own extravagant lifestyles in the now, today, not tomorrow. Some of the reasons they gave when they increased the price of petrol in May 2023 was that they wanted to stop smuggling of petroleum products abroad to neighboring countries, which was laughable. It remains laughable today. It is a security issue. When you cross any Nigerian land border, you will see the number of security agencies that man the border, from the army to customs, immigration, police, even the SSS. All of them can't stop smugglers from smuggling petroleum products across the border. Why are they paid? Why should they push their inefficiency to Nigerians to bear the burden? It doesn't make any sense. Maybe that's the reason they no longer advance this as a reason for increasing petrol price, because of how laughable the excuse is. We can't use because of few people that smuggle in connivance with security agencies. They smuggle all these petroleum products across the border while tipping them, they share the profits, and you turn around and tell Nigerians it is because of these few men that you have to pay high petrol price. How laughable. Now to one of the executive orders that Donald Trump signed, which will adversely affect Nigeria. It is about the drilling of more oil in the United States. The United States used to be one of the biggest buyers of crude oil from Nigeria. But over the years, they have reduced the import of crude oil because actually they have more crude oil than Nigeria. So going forward, they are going to drill more oil. That means they will reduce buying from abroad, which means that NNPC's revenue will drop. The fewer customers or off-takers they have, the less revenue they will make, which might take us to several years ago when the NNPC used to pump a vessel with crude oil without knowing the destination, without having a buyer. Yes, it happened in Nigeria. They were using international oil marketers. They would just fill up a tanker vessel and it will set sail while they continue searching for customers who are going to buy the crude oil. Before a few weeks it set sail, they would have found a customer and the vessel will head to the port of the customer to offload the crude oil. So the future is looking bleak in Nigeria. The fact that the United States is going to pump more crude oil doesn't necessarily mean that they will use up all the crude oil in their local economy. No. Even right now, Dangote Refinery buys crude oil from the United States to refine. So it means they will be selling to more international customers, even at a reduced price, because they are not a member of OPEC. They want the oil price to be very low so as not to hit their economy hard. High oil prices hit their economy hard, just like it is hitting Nigeria's economy hard. So what the Nigerian government can do now to counter what is coming in the future is to invest in massive production in Nigeria. And production can never thrive without cheap energy. No, it never works. Look at all the countries that are massively productive. They all have cheap energy. So as a matter of urgency, that's if they are really interested in growing the Nigerian economy. It doesn't seem like they are. They must allocate up to 400,000 barrels of crude oil per day to refineries so as to serve the Nigerian market. Yes, they don't need to pay for the subsidy directly. They are not paying anything. Just recover the cost of refining the crude oil so that people can have access to cheap energy in order to improve production, while they will gradually be improving the national grid to be able to supply 24-hour power supply, because it's still expensive to run on petrol or diesel. The manufacturer is expected to buy power generating plants and buy petrol daily in order to power them to manufacture his products, while others in neighboring countries or other countries don't have to go through all this. They don't have to worry about the maintenance of these power generators. If you want to be online 24 hours, you have to at least have 2 power generating sets, so that if one is down, you rely on the other. But at least it might save Nigeria's economy. It might force some people to return to manufacturing because they now have access to cheap energy. Petrol per liter might be pushed down to about 200 naira it used to be before they came to power. While they are doing all this, if the economy starts picking up again gradually, then they will start reintroducing some of the taxes. If you look at the past decade, especially since APC came to power, Nigeria has never grown by up to 3% annually. No, but before they came to power, we used to grow even sometimes 7% annually. Now, small Niger, our northern border, grows by about 8-10% per annum. So you can imagine how low we are. We are wasting our time while others are already advancing and getting the better life. Thanks for watching.